Hello everyone, it's Kim Hong here again. Okay, today I will be sharing a trade idea with you guys. And the trade idea is on the Euro-Pound pair. ECB not ready for QE tapering. Now, as I've covered in my prep video for ECB, okay, which I'll leave the link below, okay, at the comment section. So you guys can check it out if you guys haven't. Okay, the ECB will be announcing the monetary policy decision today at 19:45 GMT plus 8. Okay, now personally, I feel that the ECB is not going to carry out any QE tapering this time around. All right, why is that the case? Now, what you're looking at right now is the post that I've just put up. Okay, first of all, take note that the European Central Bank quantitative easing program, okay, has two parts. The first part, which is the PEPP, okay, stands for Pandemic Emergency Purchase Program, okay, was actually a program in response to the COVID pandemic, right? So it is unlikely that the central bank will be carrying out any tapering on the PEPP. Why is that the case? Because at the moment, okay, COVID cases in the Eurozone is still rising, all right? So there's still tons of uncertainty going on in the Eurozone, all right, in regards to COVID, okay? The second part of the QE, okay, is the APP, which stands for Assets Purchase Program, right? So this program has been ongoing for God knows how many years, all right, prior to the whole pandemic, okay? So again, it's unlikely that they're going to carry out a tapering on the APP. Why is that the case? Now, if you guys have noticed, I think it was last Tuesday that several ECB committee members, all right, actually came out to talk about how, you know, if they feel that the central bank should actually start carrying out tapering soon, okay? Because the Eurozone inflation has been rising non-stop, okay, has been rising at very, very high, very, very fast pace, okay. In fact, the most recent release of the inflation data actually shows an annual inflation rise at a 10-year high level, okay, which is, wow, we haven't been seeing this for like 10 years, okay. So, you know, with that, the several members of the ECB actually felt that, you know, it's time for us to carry out a tapering on our quantitative easing, okay? We don't need that much. We don't need to buy that much bonds and assets anymore, okay? Yeah, those members are the hawkish ones, okay? They are the so-called ECB hawks, which means, you know, they tend to be more on the hawkish side when it comes to monetary policy, all right? So we have not heard from, I think, any doves yet as of right now, you know, the members who are very dovish on in terms of monetary policy. But it is very likely that the recent rise in inflation is going to be downplayed, especially by the ECB president, Christine Lagarde, okay? You know, as we know that Christine Lagarde herself, she is a dove, okay? And, you know, what she's going to say is that, okay, she's likely going to say that, you know, the recent rise in inflation is transitory. As you guys have already heard this term transitory for, I don't know, few months already, okay? Describing how the recent spike in inflation is just temporary, okay? The recent rise in inflation, spike in inflation is due to transitory factors such as a strong rise in oil prices and rise in prices of used cars, used vehicles and trucks, okay? So prices coming from these areas, you know, they tend to tone down, okay, eventually, according to the central bankers, right? Which is why they deem it as transitory factors. Another thing is that the inflation rise, okay, has recently hit 2.0%, which is the ECB's inflation target, all right? Which is a good thing, right? Which is a good thing. But remember that during the revision, okay, of the inflation policy, I think it was back in August or July, okay, the ECB actually mentioned, Christine Lagarde, okay, personally actually mentioned that we want to see inflation to be at a sustainable level, okay, not just exceeding our target, but exceeding our target for a period of time, all right? Hence, sustainable. So to be honest, it has just only been like, I think, 4 to 5 months of 2.0 level at least. Okay, inflation has been at that level for probably like 4 to 5 months, 3 to 5 months, I would say. Okay, so it's still a bit early to actually, I would say, confirm that, to actually deem that inflation is likely going to be sustainable. Okay, I mean, just look at the Fed, right? A few months ago, when inflation in the United States was, at a multi-year high level, okay, what did Jerome Powell say? He said that, as expected, inflation is transitory, is temporary, is going to, eventually come back to, the Fed's 2% target and things like that. So it doesn't really warrant a quantitative easing tapering. But right now, okay, I mean, after like, more than 6 months of high inflation, the Fed is beginning to feel more convinced that maybe they should start to carry out a tapering, right? I mean, given the strong employment and, the supposedly sustainable inflation, which we have been seeing for the past more than 6 months, right? So, what the ECB is going to do is very similar to what the Federal Reserve has been doing, okay? Dim inflation rise as temporary, transitory, due to transitory factors, and wait and see, all right? So which is why, personally, I feel that no QE tapering announcements is going to be made later on during the ECB monetary policy announcements, okay? Now, let me just show you the chart for the trade idea. Okay, so no tapering announcements coming out from the ECB. Does that mean that the euro is not going to move during the monetary policy decision later on? I mean, especially there's going to be another round of a press conference carried out by Lagarde, okay, at 2030 GMT plus 8, right? Personally, I feel that there's still going to be some movements. Now, although no tapering announcement is going to be made, it is likely, okay, given the recent improvement. I mean, we still have to give credits to the rise in inflation, right? I mean, inflation was really strong. Annual inflation hit like a 3.0 during the most recent data release, okay? So we're going to give credit to that. And the ECB is likely going to give credits to that as well, right? And I think according to the most recent data, at least 60% of the Eurozone population has been vaccinated, has been fully vaccinated, okay? So with the speedy vaccination program, with the recent rise in inflation and the decent recovery, the decent economic recovery in the Eurozone, okay, the ECB may actually begin discussions on a tapering. Now, it doesn't mean that they're going to announce a tapering. Okay, it just means that they are thinking about tapering, talking about tapering, start to begin the discussion on tapering, QE tapering, all right? Which is why if they actually carry out a discussion on QE tapering, and if Lagarde were to actually, go into details of the discussion during a press conference, it is very likely that we will be seeing movements in the euro, okay? Hence, my trade idea, euro pound, as you can see, okay, what you're looking at right now is the daily chart, all right? So as you can see, there's this purple region over here. It actually indicates that the euro pound has been moving across within a 70 pips range for the past more than 2 weeks, I would say. 16 days, 16 trading days, okay, which is actually, which coincides to more than 2 weeks, all right? So for the past 2 weeks, euro pound has been ranging across, not giving a clear direction as to, where it should be heading to, all right? So, I mean, you can see from our Bollinger Bands as well, it's starting to, converge into what we call a Bollinger Squeeze, okay? So that actually presents a opportunity on either side of the direction. You know, if euro were to strengthen, I mean, if the ECB were to carry out some QE discussions, okay, during the meeting this time around, then it is possible that the euro may strengthen, right? Now, on the other hand, if Lagarde continues to remain very, very dovish, you know, maybe to the extent of saying that we are not ready for a QE tapering and a premature exiting of our quantitative easing programs may actually lead to dire consequences, then we will likely be seeing a weakening in the euro, okay? Either way, we will be looking for both buying and selling opportunities, okay? Which is why I have two levels at the, you know, on my chart over here. As you can see, the upper line, the upper green dotted lines over here is a buy level of 0.863. Okay, so, you know, if euro pound were to break out of this purple region, okay, and trigger that line, there'll be a buying opportunity, okay? Then the bottom green dotted line, okay, indicates my sell stop order, okay? If euro pound were to trade below, were to break below the purple region and hit the 853 level, then we can look to sell, right? So with this whole straddle pattern going on, all right, just pay attention to the press conference, okay? It is unlikely that the interest rate statement is going to indicate any hints of discussions on whether on the topic of QE tapering, okay? It's more like during the press conference, you know, that when the reporters, the journalists, okay, were to probe, you know, Lagarde into more of the details of the central bank's meeting, that is when Lagarde, you know, may actually say that, you know, we actually carried out a discussion on QE tapering, or no, we did not carry out any discussion on QE tapering, right? So yeah, just pay attention to the press conference at 20:30 GMT +8. And yep, that is the end of my trade idea sharing, okay? So if you guys have not watched my ECB prep video, I will leave a link below, okay, at the comment section, so you guys can actually check it out. Just check it out before the 1945 GMT +8 release of the statement, you know, in case they drop a hint again of, you know, unlikely they're going to carry out any change in forward guidance, okay? But yeah, just in case things happen, I mean, price move even before the press conference starts, okay? So with that, I will see you guys tomorrow during the currency call, and I will update you guys on what went down during the ECB meeting. All right, see you guys. Thank you.